are you starting to feel like Joey could be your person? Is that happening yet?
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely starting to think like, oh, okay, this is like, I'm not just on here, to meet someone and see if there's something there. Like, I'm like, the something there is there. It's just a matter of like kind of getting down, like opening up was a big thing for me that night. Like, I wanted to open up about my health with him because I wanted to make sure like that wasn't something that, he wouldn't want to, that could affect his decision with me. So at that point, I was like, the feelings are there. I just think we need to kind of figure out under the covers, like our values, what we want long term, and our timelines. Timelines was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see you mention it. We definitely don't have to go there if you're uncomfortable
Yeah.
talking
No.
about it. But your past with your ex of it being an issue for him. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I can touch on it. I think, for him, my health was ultimately something that impacted the end of our relationship. I think he saw it as, I would never say a burden, but, just something that would potentially affect, us being able to have a family long term, or, my ability to be a mother. Like, I'm not always 100% every day. And so for him, he saw that as sometimes a challenge, which you can imagine on my side, like, is really difficult because,
Yeah.
when we broke up, like hearing from multiple people that it was like, he just wasn't sure he could handle your health condition. He wasn't sure that he could support you in the way that you need to be supported. And for me, it was very much like, but I do a really good job at like holding my pain in and not showing it outwardly. So I'm already self-conscious about this. And to hear it was like one of the deciding factors to ultimately not move towards a marriage with me, like has made me not want to open up about any of this with another person.
Yeah, I can imagine that being on TV, opening up to Joey, this new relationship about your endo is already scary. And then to have that added layer of like, well, the last time I did this, it ended the relationship is just a whole other layer of like anxiety.
Exactly. I mean, you said it perfectly. But I felt I had to because on the show you have such limited time. And so I wanted to be fair to Joey. And it's not, Joey was never going to go in and say like, I don't want to be with you because you can't have kids. That's not the conversation that we were having. It was more like, hey, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z. I might be on a little bit more of an expedited timeline than some of these other girls that are here because of X, Y, and Z. Like, how does that make you feel? And I genuinely wanted his reaction because it's okay if he wants, 5 to 7 years before kids. And I'm not saying that's what he said, but like his emotions and reaction are valid. And I would rather have that early on than like drag out a connection and then it come up later. That to me wouldn't be fair to him.
Totally. That totally makes sense. Because if he were to say like, I'm not ready to have kids, I don't want a family for 10 years or like, we know he wants kids, but like it's a serious conversation to have. And it's one that, you have added layers to add to. So how did that conversation go? Like, obviously you did an amazing job of expressing yourself. We saw, how did it feel, hearing Joey's response?
Hearing Joey's response was, like probably forever changed my perception on opening up about this in my life and my story and my health and relationships. He brought me to tears that night. He was so genuine and sincere and such a good listener. I felt heard. I didn't feel judged or like analyzed. I felt like he was really just listening to me and empathetic to what I went through. He related to me in many ways in his own personal life. And he was like, look, that's not an issue for me. Like, I think with the right person, whoever that is for him, that they would figure it out. And, that could be through things like adoption or, surrogacy, whatever that looks like. Kids are important to him as well, but that's not going to be detrimental to his choice and moving forward with me. And he was so kind that night. And it was really beautiful.